Let the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, the stewardship of these hands be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Hey everybody, Charles, Hype Central. Let me welcome you in. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a few days, and bear with us as we get back in the swing of things. It's been an interesting morning already. As you heard me say a few times, those that follow us, I like movement behind the screen, so I'm just going to get it on out there. Today, it didn't want to move for us, but it's okay. We're going to move forward anyway. That's the subject that you see, but we'll get to it in a moment. So, what has happened since the last time that we spoke, or the last time you saw us online? Few things. We've updated the website with a few different scenes, and at your convenience, you take a look at that. As well as we did go on that vacation. It was more than just on standby getting rest. We took some time away out in Branson. It was a good time, interesting ride, because actually that I can remember in the almost 40 years that her and I have been connected and or married, I don't think I've ever taken a vacation. So that was a first. So this being the first was interesting. It was good. Made some positive advances, and more to come. I guess the only nick I would give the Branson stay is when we surveyed it, it was supposed to be a jetted tub. Okay with me. Listen, I'm a bath guy. She's a shower guy. So I've never experienced being in the jetted tub. So I didn't miss anything. So beautiful. So maybe the next time. But here's what's really interesting. I was just reading this morning. I'm going to get into what I'm going to get to. Bear with us, y'all. You're probably going to get a little bit more because of the days we've been down. But I was reading actually in the Word passage of Scripture, and it reminded me of how if there's something you want or something you claim, how about something physical? A house, a car, or something along those lines. And I don't mean to be materialistic, but it's what I saw in the flash I had. So I want to share it with you. What's wrong with us, those that are believer? I know you talk about manifestation, some of you. Going to that place, going to that automobile, and just claiming it. Well, Charles, why are you talking about that now? Well, like I said, I've never been on a vacation before. And the place we went brought a whole lot of things to mind that I would like for myself. So I'm going to look over at Renee now, and I think we ought to find a plot of land, walk on it, and claim it, and then do all the other things to establish it. Because I want a away place, a place of escape. The higher-ups, what do they have, Martha Vineyard? I don't know. So a place like that, although I like mountains. So with that said, Renee, I think you ought to put that on the dream board as something to pursue. So I won't talk any more about that. There's some pictures online on the web page, and also there's a short video. And yes, I did that. I was walking around. It was quiet. I looked at this phone right here, and I was like, how does this work? So I started walking around the room, and I was talking kind of low. But if you listen to the video, yep, that was me walking through being a nut. So with that said, first of all, I want to sing my song. Let me see. Let me pick a song. If you keep watching and following, you'll understand why I sing, even though I'm not a singer. You'll understand as we progress and develop. So I'll start by saying, life is more than this, so much more than that, so much more than this, so much more than that. Life is more than this, so much more than that. Life is so much, so much, so much more. How about you? Your life is more than this, so much more than that. So much more than this, so much more than that. Your life is more than this, so much more than that. Life is so much, so much, so much more. How about our? Our lives are more than this, so much more than that. Our lives are more than this, so much more than that. Our lives are more than this, so much more than that. Our lives are so much, so much, so much more. There you go. That's my song for the day. We're planning a foundation. I want to also let you know, you may hear some sounds in the background. It's school time, and we as grandparents, we got a couple of little ones rolling around, so you may hear some sounds, so forgive us. So, I'm going to move a little further. So, I'm full, and I want to share. Some of the things I wrote down were written before we took that trip. I just jotted it down. I threw the paperwork in the drawer. And when we got back, whatever day it was we got back, the next morning I started looking through it and seeing what I need to add to it to close it out. And it wasn't until yesterday morning that I heard a song. And literally, when you hear me say these things, everything I'm giving you, I'm giving to you as I got. I'm not sitting down per se, looking at somebody else's notes, going online, cheating, using their words. That's why maybe at times the flow isn't what it should be, or maybe I'm not using professional words. I never said I was a professional. I'm not a therapist. Here's a good disclaimer. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I have not licensed or certified to give any professional advice. Noted. And as a matter of fact, while I'm on that line, those that are listening, I think the direction I'm about to go on today, because it was given to me, like I said before we went on the vacation, there might be some triggers in there. There might be some triggers. So depending on where you are in your life's development and growth, there might be some things I say on today that might trigger you. So just be aware. So this is an advance notice. So, as I say oftentimes, let me slow down a little bit. Like I said, I'm full. When I get that way, I'm looking to see where I want to start. I'm looking into the camera. And if I look away, forgive. I'm still learning. I say first natural, then spiritual. I'm going to help Renee out. I'm going to see if I can put a smile on her face. I remember back in 1983, guys, back in 1983, I got the call from this girl. We had not done the paperwork. We weren't married then, but she let me know she was graduating. And I said, I want to come. I want to be at the graduation. I was in Chicago. She was in Missouri. So after we talked a little bit about that, and then I said, well, I'm coming. And she said, where am I going to stay? Now, to kind of bring you guys into where our thoughts, her thoughts and my thoughts are, her father is now newly married, living in, he's been married, but I didn't know that, but living in Missouri, because all I knew was Renee and her mother in Chicago. So, she's in Missouri, and guess who she's staying with? She's staying with her dad. And let me add a little bit to that. Was he still policing at the time? The proud, and that's all I'll say because he might get wind of this. The proud police officer that he is. So, she said, my dad isn't going to let you stay here. And me, I'm just thinking about you, Marge, in case you're listening to this. I'm only thinking about you. My relationship with you I thought was pretty good back then. So that's the way I look at it. He's a byproduct. What do you mean? So so I said to her, I was like, I'm going to stay with you. He said, my dad will never do that. So I don't know if he was nearby. At some point or another when we can get Renee in front of the microphone, she can convey, where he was seated or how he was in earshot. But I just know the next thing you know, she was passing him the telephone. Now, mind you, those that are listening to me, I didn't know him like that then. He probably heard of me through them. I don't think I had ever met him before then. So, so he gets on the phone. He says, "Sir." And as I begin to fix my mouth, if I remember correctly, his memory is probably better than mine, and he'll confirm or disconfirm later. All he said was, "Come on." So I guess in his mind, if this person, I started to say something, but I'm trying to stay politically correct. If this person had enough gumption and the audacity to ask to come live in his house, he wanted to see who this person was. So I got back on the phone with Renee, and she said, "Oh, okay." So we had a couple other words, we hung up. But the bottom line is this. I don't think I was working solidly at the time. I was just getting money, here and there, and I got enough money to catch the bus. So I caught the bus. I headed to Missouri, and I had never been on a trip that far or even out of town at that point by myself. But I went to Missouri, and I got to the bus station. She asked me to call to let her know I had made it. So I was on the phone with Renee. Like I said, I was trying to bring a smile to her face. I think I got it, y'all. But anyway, so while I'm on the phone talking with Renee, letting her know I'm here, I hear a voice behind me. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to Missouri that's listening to me outside of those that are here, but me being from Chicago all my life, when I hear sometimes the Missourians speak, they have what kind of R is that? Their R is a little bit different from ours, but I heard Charles, and I was like, I think he said, "Are you?" And I turned around and I looked up. Police officer, he's what is he? 6'1", 6'1"? I don't know. But anyway, I turned around and I looked up at him, and I had boots on, you guys, because I was sporting back then. I think I had a little wave in my head, and I had some, I think I had jeans on, and I had some cut-off boots. They were kind of smooth bottom, and I turned around and I looked up at him. He said, "Sir," and you know what he said to me? He said, "Let's go." That's it. That's it. My first meeting, never met him before, this proud police officer. So I walked behind, I said, "T, your dad is here," and I hung up the phone. So I started walking behind him like a little puppy dog. So mind y'all, the police officer that I never met before is now ready to police. Because before we could get out of the bus station, there was someone hovering around the front door. I think he was inebriated or something like that. And then her father proceeded to tell this person to move. He wasn't in uniform, guys. He was in regular clothes. But he proceeded to tell this person to move. And this person looking at him like, I guess they were probably thinking, "Who are you?" and me, myself, I was saying, "Here we go. He's trying to let me know he's got authority." So within a few minutes, I believe that man started to, make his way on up out of there. And then before we could get out of the door, did I get a smile? She's still smiling, y'all. So before I could get out of the door, I said to myself, I was like, I wonder what he driving. So we get out of the door, and I started waiting to see what he was going to get in. And then there was this Jeep CJ, I think it was. I don't know what year it was. It was who? Grand Cherokee. You're saying Grand Cherokee? But it looked like a CJ. But anyway, nice Jeep. Nice looking Jeep. Big wheels, all the stuff that you would see like on the beach. The Duners back then. That's the look it had. Not this stuff they got now that they call in Jeep, but it was traditional Jeep. It looks like, to me, it looked like a Jeep CJ, but y'all look it up. But anyway, so I get in the Jeep, and he gets in, and on that Jeep, along the glove box, it had, I believe, a silver bar, but it was a bar in front of it. I had to grab it because the way her father was driving, I think he was trying to make a point, because if you've never been to Missouri, they got curves and turns, and I tell you, I don't know how fast that Jeep was in the 80s, the speed, but he was hitting them turns, and them boots I had on was sliding across the footboard, just back and forth, and I looked over out of the corner of my eye, I'm still trying to be, manly, and act like it's okay. But I'm holding on to the bar tight. And I was like, this man, that's like he's just trying to prove something, but he's not saying anything. So he says, before I take you home, he says, I want to make a stop. And, what I'm going to say, I've never been to Missouri before. Never met him before. And he's already being bravado. So, okay. So the first place he takes me to is to introduce me to his wife. And I don't know if she was just on the outside of a club or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, he pulled off to the side. She was standing there, looked like she had a mink on. I mean, doing it. But anyway, I looked over at Sandy. That's her name. And I spoke. She smiled. So this is Charles, whatever, something along those lines. And then he said, okay. He said, I'm going to take you to the house. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder where they live. So he's spinning all around. And then we finally get to the house after a bunch of curves. It's like up in a, subdivision type area. I don't know. But anyway, he pulls in front of the house. And immediately the garage door begins to open. Now, mind you guys, I'm from Chicago. We didn't come from a lot of money. So, and I believe at the time, I think we was in a house, but, it was in the hood, and, not to, talk about where we lived. It was home, but it wasn't that. So I can't describe the type of house it was. Maybe it was also ranch style. I don't know, but it was a beautiful home. The garage door came up, and I was like, wow. So he pulled right in, and we got in the garage. It's full with all type of things that a young buck would, love to see or would love to have around, especially being a guy. And then I'm hearing all this beeping. Beep, 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 beep. Every time they open the door, there's a beep. Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what is this? So I walk in the door, and I see just beautiful stuff. Beautiful. I'm a buck. Nothing. But running, chasing after this girl right here back then, just wanting to be a part of the graduation. So I walk in the house. I look at the beautiful dinette set. I look at the living room. Y'all remember back in the day? I don't know if it had plastic on it, but it felt like it had plastic on it. Because it looked like nobody ever sat in there. So I was like, wow, what is this? I am not... Who was that? The Wizard of Oz. I'm not in Kansas. Oh, I was almost in Kansas. Like, where am I? What did I get myself into? So he says, I'm going to go in and check on Renee. Because by that time, I want to say it was 11 o'clock. It was pretty late. So he, I guess, went to see her about her. And then I went in the room and I saw her. And he sat on the edge of the bed, looking at her and look at me. Look at her and look at me. That was Joe to his heart. And then he looked over at me. He said, look. He said, don't y'all stay up all night. And then he finally left us. And I looked at Renee. And we both looked at him leaving out of the room. It's like, okay, now. All right, I'm almost finished, y'all. I'm going to get into what I want to share. But like I said, it's been a few days, so bear with me. I don't know how many it's going to be. Y'all can start from the beginning or the end. It might be 1 of 5. I don't know. But I'm giving you what I have to give. First natural, then spiritual. So we found out. We went to the graduation. Nice graduation. They wanted to go out. But those that know me think I'm a whole homebody now. I was a super homebody then. This was her high school graduation. And as most graduations do, I didn't go to my high school graduation. When they said I passed, that's all I needed to know. I'm out, done. So, but anyway, after their graduation, they were going out. And I began to feel bad because I know she wanted to go, but she decided not to go. And she came home, and I don't remember what we did that night. I don't know. But then the next morning, I'm getting somewhere because I want to have this as a lead in to what I'm talking about. So the next morning, or the next day, we find out, I guess they had a loss in the family, and they were going to a funeral and all of that. And when Renee told me, sometimes I'll say Renee or Tina, when she told me, I was like, oh man, I just got here. Does that mean I'm going to have to leave right away? So at the time, I believe Renee said, I don't know. So, but sometime between then and later that night after they were gone, is that a hint? She said she got pulled in and they had the talk. So they did what they were going to do. They had their talk, and here we are. It's just us. It's Renee, myself, and her brother. And I don't know if Joy was there or not. Oh, he had to go with him? Okay, Joy wasn't there. But anyway, so after we got over that, the fact that they were gone, and guys, I'm just being myself. I wanted to make sure they were gone. And we're going to turn around. And at the time, no funny business, none of that, because we didn't have that. There was none of that. It was just the fact that the comfort level. I don't know him. I knew her mother, but I didn't know him. So we found out they were gone. So her brother, who was there, I don't know if he was living there at the time. Okay. He, I guess, wanted to find out what we wanted to do. And y'all know that Jeep I told y'all about when my feet were sliding from left to right? Some kind of way, my now brother-in-law got a hold of them keys. And he took me out on the town. We went here and there, speeding around. It was one time he turned the corner so sharp, the Jeep was on two wheels. Curtis had to turn around. He looked at us. Yeah, all right. We all right. We all right. And we had it was Michael Jackson on the radio. One of his songs playing on the radio because he was big, back then in the 80s. But anyway, we went to a couple of places, had something to eat, and then we went back home. But what I want to get at is this: while I was in that basement, I was in the basement. And I'd never been in a basement like that before because it was completely finished. That was new to me. Like I said, city boy, we didn't have that. The basement, had tile stuff. I'm talking about at home, but it wasn't like that. We went down and it was, plush. They had a pit group, a bathroom down there. I don't want to tell all their business, but it was nice. And what caught my eye is what's going to lead me into the story. They had a projector screen TV. Back then, it wasn't all consuming and just a unit hanging from the ceiling, if I be not mistaken. There was a base on the floor, and it projected from the floor. And what was showing on the screen at the time, there's more to the story, but I'll save it for the next time, is Superman. I don't know if it was Superman 1 or Superman 2, but I was in awe of the view, the look, the sound, and they had a ginormous screen. It's not like they do now. It's just a big a unit, I believe, against the wall, and the movie was being projected, whether it was a video or cable. To my knowledge, I don't think we had cable in our house, but they had that and more. There was a lot going on. But anyway, Superman. And that's why you see this on the background. Let's begin. Let's begin. I said I began writing before we went on that vacation that I'd never been before. But like I said, Renee, I wasn't kidding. Put that on the dream board. I want a place for us to go to. I really want to see mountains on the outside, not just water, but something that, people that are not like us seem to have a place to go to. And I think everybody needs a moment and time of respite. And that's no harm or foul to what I'm saying. I'm telling you, the lifestyle that I've led up until now, I didn't see those things. I didn't have those experiences. Those were splurges as far as I'm concerned. But it's necessary. So, let me move on. Yesterday morning, I went to the washroom, and I don't know if I was getting ready to brush my teeth or what, I don't know, but I heard a song, and this is the song I heard. The song I heard was The Love I Lost. Anybody remember that song, The Love I Lost? That was written by Leon Hoff and Kenneth Gamble. Other songs they were known for, you might know, is Me and Mr. Jones, When Will I See You Again, If You Don't Know Me By Now, Don't Leave Me This Way, Love Train by the OJs, and Now That We Found Love. Those are some of the songs that they also responsible for written for. but this song, The Love I Lost, it was performed by Harold Melvin and Blue Notes. And those that don't know, Teddy Pendergrass was a part of them at the time. But here's the words. I went to lyric because I heard the song. I was like, wow! I don't know the last time I heard that song, The Love I Lost. Some of the words were, I didn't write them all down, but it says, I can remember the planning, building my whole world around you. I can remember hoping that you and I could make it through. But something went wrong. The background, something went wrong. We loved each other. We just couldn't get along. Take a good look at me. I'm in misery. Can't you see? And then the verse, the love that I lost. It was a what? Sweet love. The love that I lost was a complete love. And then it says, the love I lost, y'all remember that? I will never love again. All right. Here we go. Somebody saying, why are they saying kryptonite? Why are we saying kryptonite? This is the part I want to key on. The love I lost. I told Renee before I started this, I was like, I think there's going to be some triggers. I think I told her, or I said at the beginning of the film, there might be some things that we come across that might trigger. That's not my intent. But I want to hone in on this thing that I'm headed to. Let's get back to the fictional character of Superman. Bear with me in this folly. Follow along with me in this story as I try to describe where I'm headed to. It starts off something like this. It's a bird. Ha! It's a plane. No, I wrote it's super person. I'm going to let y'all decide why I said super person. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Faster than a speeding locomotive. And able to swat away bullets. But I looked a little bit deeper and I wrote some more of his abilities down, and I'll explain why later. It says he was a breaker of chains. When I saw that, it reminded me of my favorite movie, The Game of Thrones, where they would announce the Queen Daenerys, the breaker of chains. This whole list, just to say, she's here. Super person. He was able, or they were able, to lift cars overhead, to crush coals into diamonds, bullets bouncing off their bodies, even able to withstand nuclear blasts, fly faster than the speed of light. He had all types of visions. I didn't even take the time to write them down, but one of them is X-ray vision. And he was able to project beams of light. Super person was able to hear things so faint beyond human hearing. But then there was what you call kryptonite. Kryptonite. Where do I want to go from there? It says, but have they met their match? Are they utterly undone? What will